Hello, my name is Judy Snivell. I'm a member and a volunteer teacher here at the Dorothy C. Benson Center. I primarily teach card making, which is something I love to do. It's never ending on what you can do and the possibilities. Mostly what we do in the card making class is work with cardstock paper, which is a 65-pound paper. It's a heavy paper, but it absorbs the ink and the color much better than construction paper. I'm going to show you some today of how we did it with ink and then how we're going to do it with construction paper that you may have at home. The cards in front of you, as you see, are made with a rubber stamp, an ink rubber stamp, using the black ink pad with various rubber stamps. If you'd like to purchase any rubber stamps at any time for your own use, I want to give you one hint. When you buy a stamp, be sure it is raised and not just one level. You need the height in there so only the lines will stamp on the card and not the entire black part. So be sure the stamp itself is raised off the bed of the rubber stamp. These rubber stamps, we probably have about 250 that are used in our classes. What else we use with them is either regular colored pencils. Usually Crayola is the best because of the wax that is used for the pencils. The pencil sharpener that we use is just a regular pencil sharpener because it's better for these kind of pencils. It gives you a better point rather than using an electric pencil sharpener. As I said, these cards were made in our classes. These little details that you're looking at are from die cuts, which are these little handheld machines that you can make very simply out of this is scrapbook paper, sliding it up, pushing it down, and it comes out to be a design. And these designs are overlapped, so you could make a flower foundation and make it a flower pot or flower stems. Die cuts are not a cheap item, but they are very useful. So you can see how we've used the die cuts here. We also have the smaller die cut, which is the 1-inch circular one, which is great to use if you make a card for balloons or get well or just to say hi. But let's say you don't have all this at home. Well, that's okay. We have construction paper. Out of construction paper, which is not as heavy as the cardstock. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but the cardstock, this one is much heavier than the construction paper. 65-pound paper called cardstock. But we're going to work with construction paper today. What can I use on my construction paper to make designs? Okay, let me suggest a few. Cookie cutters, always a good idea. And that not just usable as a cookie cutter, turn it the other way. Maybe you can find something else in there you could use. A simple coaster, trace around it. Lid off of a medicine cabinet, a medicine bottle, or any jar lid, or the jar itself, top or bottom of the jar. You can use as a circle. Maybe someone in the household has this kind of circle. These are great. These give you all sorts of ideas. From Kleenex box, the top of the Kleenex box, just a shape that you could use, maybe for a face. This guy, who's just a wooden cutout, trace around him and then color him in. This is wood, a hot air balloon. Trace around it, color it in. Circle, a key, a little sign, or even a credit card or some type like that. Trace around it and trace around it again and make your own design. Okay? I'm going to do a little simple card here today. Another thing you can use is also stickers on your card. Now, on your card, you're going to do your own printing if you do not take this card in class in a regular setting. But don't get locked in. Let your imagination just flow and just do something completely different. Let's just say I'm going to make a card. So I'm going to take my paper, here again, construction paper that you probably have, fold it in half, which is an important part of card making because right from the get-go, you've got to match up these corners because that's how your card's going to come out. So match them up, press it down, okay? Then again, simply going to fold it over and press it down, okay? Now, the paper's folded in 4 ways. Actually, you have 2 cards here. So you will have to determine which way you want your card to go to open it this way or this way. Either way is fine. We're going to leave that double, so I'm going to have the card open this way with this being the front and this being the greeting inside. So, what should we make this? Let's see. Let's make the hot air balloon. Okay, we're simply going to trace it with a darker pencil so you can see where you need to color. Like I say, use your imagination on this. Use colored pencils or crayons or glitter pens or whatever you might have. Okay, so now I've got my design. I'm just going to fill in a few lines here. Then I'm going to go to my colored pencils and pick out some colors. Okay, this is a nice orange color. I'm going to make this nice and bright. So I'm going to just color this quickly here with just my orange. It doesn't have to be completely colored in, but I think you get the idea of what we're doing here. Remember, you can make these cards, have on hand for birthdays you might have forgotten about, someone who becomes ill and you want to send them a card. You already have one made. Okay, now I'm going to color the basket down here a little brown. Make it look like a basket a little bit. And maybe these things a little. Remember when you're coloring with colored pencils, the harder you press, the darker it is. The lighter you press, the lighter it is. Nothing that says you can't go back and redo it, okay? So here we have what we have. Now let's go in here. We've got the front. Here again, this is something you made. And we're going to say, Miss Seen You, which I think we can all say these days. And then you put your name. Here you have your card. Nothing that says you can't write out here, you know. Hope you've been flying high. Hope you're feeling good, whatever. But here is your card. So let your mind wild with it. Go through the house and see what you might have, what you didn't think about, a jar, a bottle top, a pencil, anything that can, a cookie cutter, like I said, makes great ones. So what we'll do next week is we're going to go into the session of, we'll talk a little bit more about using the rubber stamps and the die cuts. So I hope you'll join me for that session and have fun card making. We'll see you next week.